and in one day got her 25 likes. So good job, good job. And that was really great, and her page looks really great. So I'm sure she would also be willing to help any of you who are still struggling. Or again, feel free to email me and I will be happy to help you. So a couple of things I want to go over. So last week, and we have to a little bit backtrack about some of the stuff I told you last week, because here's the thing, social media is changing every day. And this is an example of why we need to keep up to date constantly about what's going on. So last week you should have created your WordPress account. So hopefully all of you went in, you created your WordPress account, and you got set up with at least your basic blog. So really easy stuff, not a big deal to do. You just have to really set up the account and then start playing with it. So if anyone had any problems with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions. You can feel free to type them in the question box or raise your hand. I'll be happy to open your mic. The other thing is that you should have done is created a post. Now, if you didn't quite feel comfortable, go ahead and hitting that publish button. You could have just created a draft to, sort of experiment. And again, if anyone would like to email me their blog, I will be happy to read it, take a look at it, and give you any feedback necessary. So that's something that I'm always willing to do. So feel free to go ahead and send me a copy of it, and I'll be happy to give you some feedback. Okay, so last week I told you to link your blog to your Facebook business page using the application Networked Blogs. Well, guess what? Facebook is getting sneaky, and they are sort of making your third-party application like Network Blogs not so important in that ever important edge rank. Okay, remember edge rank is um, how your posts will show up in your news feed, right? You want to get them to top news. Well, guess what? If you look here, this is a little screenshot that I pulled from my Facebook account about 3 days ago, and you'll see here that it says there's a blog post, and then if you look down below it says see 25 more posts from Networked Blogs. Basically what is happening is Facebook is collapsing the blogs, all the blogs feeding either through an RSS feed or through Network Blogs, which just last week I told you to use because it's so fabulous. And I will tell you, it's not that I was wrong to tell you that, it's just that they've changed the way they've done it. Because if you go to like top social media experts, they will tell you, like, 6 months ago they were saying Network Blogs is the best thing since sliced bread, and then a week ago they're saying forget it, don't use it. So this is kind of how social media is always changing and why we need to keep up to date on it. So if you look now, what Facebook is doing is they're collapsing them into one sort of post. So that doesn't work for what we want to do. So what we're going to have to do is post our blog manually for the best edge rank. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a few minutes just showing you what to do, how to post manually, and how to actually remove that Networked Blogs if you've already done that. What I will do also is I will write a blog today or tomorrow, and I will send it out to everybody on exactly how to do this. Okay, so I'm going to just quickly show you, and then I will send you a blog about exactly what to do. But just quickly, let's go to Facebook. And so we'll go to our home page, and over here on the left you're going to see my application Networked Blogs. So I actually still want to use Networked Blogs because it's good for search engine optimization, but I don't want it to syndicate. In other words, I don't want my blog to automatically post to my Facebook page because I don't want my blog collapsed in that little Networked Blogs, how it collapsed that. And in fact, my blog was collapsed in there, so that's why I was completely, I don't know what the word is, horrified. All right, so I'm going to check syndication up here at the top. This is if you've already, and I know some of you have, if you've already syndicated your blog or already asked to syndicate your blog. So what I'm going to do is I'll select a blog. So I'll select my Master Success blog, and then you'll see that I have it posting to these 3 places. So if I actually just click over here, expand for details, I can just hit remove. Simple as that. Now it won't automatically post to that page. All right, so that's really what I'm going to do. All right, so now that's done. All right, really, really simple. And what the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back out to my Facebook page, and I want to show you how to just manually do that. And I know that we've already done this, but I want to show you again. Okay, so let's say, for example, we want to go out to the blog. Okay, so let's go to our blog. By the way, here's the last blog I wrote, which I wrote because I want to talk about gravitars to you actually, with you actually. But I want to pull this blog. Now, if you notice up here, I can grab the link. But remember that my Facebook page does what? It feeds to my Twitter account, right? So really what I want to do is I want to get the short link, right? I want to get that little tiny URL. I don't need to go and paste this into bit.ly like we talked to before because WordPress will already give me a short link. So if I just go here where it says blog info, get short link, I can do that. I have my pop-up blocker on. So I'm actually going to log in and do that just a little bit easier. So if I go to my dashboard and I go to posts and I pull up this recent blog entry post, you also notice here that it will say get short link over here on the right hand side. If I'm going too fast, anyone tell me slow down? And there's my short link right there up in that little window. So all I need to do is actually copy that, go back to Facebook, now it doesn't matter if I'm on my personal page or my business page, the process is the same. I'm just going to hit link and I'm going to copy that link in there and hit attach. There you go. So there's a little post about what's a gravatar. So that's how you would do that manually. So I'm going to write a little message. I'm going to say reposting this because networked blogs is now. So I'm sorry we had to take a little bit of a off run on our class here today, but I definitely wanted to go over this with you. So I'm just going to say repost this because networked blog is now collapsing. How about Facebook? Okay, so basically what's happening is Facebook is collapsing or putting all the network blog posts kind of together in the news feed. So yours could be at the top or somebody might have to click more to find yours. So you don't want that. So we're going to just have to manually post our um, our our blogs to our Facebook page. And then they still will feed to our Twitter account. Okay, so I'm just going to hit share and there you go. Pretty simple. So again, you're just going to paste it into the link button and hit attach. So I know that makes it just one more step. It's not that difficult, but really for the edge rank or that position in top news, that's really how we're going to have to do it until somebody figures something else out. So if anyone has any questions about that, let me know. If you need me to go over that at the end of class, again, I will be more than happy to do that, but I did want to go over that. Okay, second thing is you may have noticed that when you comment on a blog or when you go on a blog, you are able to have what's called a gravatar. And that's that little box that shows up every time you make a comment. So I'm not going to go too much into that today, because what I did was I wrote a blog post explaining what a gravatar is and how you can use a gravatar and how you can get a gravatar. And I know very much that your office would like you to go ahead and create a gravatar and start using that. So what I am going to do is I'm going to email out that blog post today to everybody. So I'm going to ask you after class to check your email. It's not long. It's not even 200 words. Okay, so it'll take you like 45 seconds to read it and go through it and follow the instructions on how to get a gravatar. So I'm going to ask everyone to do that also, because I know that your office would like you to do that to make everything a little bit easier, and they're going to be using some gravatars going forward in a couple of other things. So today we're going to talk about what to blog about, right? Because last week you set up your blog, we talked about the anatomy of a blog, and really how the functionality of a blog works. But okay, now we need to talk about, okay, I have a blog, now what do I do with it and what do I blog about? So we're going to also talk about how to use a blog for lead generation, right? This is the point. We want to get more business. We want to build our sphere of influence. We want to expand our reach and reach more people, people that we were never able to reach to before. And you got to find time, right? That's the eternal question. Okay, Jill, I don't have time for this. How am I going to make this work into my already busy schedule? I can't add one more thing to my plate. Okay, well, if we can put it into your schedule and we can find time for you to do it, and it's going to generate you leads. Now, not right away. Don't think you're going to write one blog post and all of a sudden, bang, you have leads. That's just not how it's going to happen. I'm going to ask you to sort of commit to this, right? Like I'm going to say like 3 months. And then if in 3 months you're not generating some interest and some leads and you've been doing everything I say, I want you to come back to me and say, Jill, you got to write my blog now. Okay? So let's talk about what you should blog about. Well, there's a couple of questions you need to ask before you start blogging, and that really is, who is your audience? Now that goes back to basic marketing, right? And it's kind of funny in a way because, you know, as a real estate professional, we really don't learn too much about marketing. We learn about, you know, generating leads and making phone calls and scripts and, you know, handling objections, all those things that happen after the marketing. But we don't honestly talk about how to market yourself. And that's really an important question now. And when I talk about marketing, and this is just a little aside that I'm going to add in, is I want you to think about what's known as inbound marketing, okay? Typically, any kind of advertisement that we're used to or any kind of marketing that we're used to is what's known as outbound marketing, right? So you put out an ad, you put an ad in the newspaper, television commercial, radio ad, and you're trying to reach out to people, okay? But when we're talking about inbound marketing, we're talking about, think of yourself as a magnet, okay? And you're trying to draw people in. And you have to think about, how am I going to do that? So when you think about how you're going to do that, you have to say, well, who is it that I want to draw in? What is my message? And who is my audience? So when you think about who your audience is, you'll know what your message is. The other thing is, what do you want to accomplish? Do you want to be, you know, simply about real estate? When we talked about that Facebook page, right? Or do you want it to be more of a community-based blog? Do you want your blog to be a niche market? Maybe you really want to go after, let's say, the foreclosure market. Now, I would suggest to you that that is a great market to go after, because if you had read, and I don't have the statistic right in front of me, but if you had read the National Association of Realtors Profile of Home Buyers and Sellers, which hopefully you all read, if you don't, see your broker manager, I'm sure they have a copy, you would know that it was more than 50%. I want to say it was somewhere in the 60 to 80%, and I'm going to have to get that statistic for you. People that were looking to buy a home said they were interested in a foreclosure. Now you know that already, right, from being out in the field. You know that every buyer was like, well, I want to buy a foreclosure. Did they actually buy a foreclosure? No. The reason they didn't buy a foreclosure was multitudes of reasons, but mostly it wasn't all that it was cracked up to be, right? You already knew that. but they didn't. So they were looking on the internet, right? Foreclosures in Florida, foreclosures in your town, foreclosures in your county. So if you had had a blog listing foreclosures, talking about how to buy a foreclosures, basically positioning yourself as the foreclosure expert in your marketplace, you would be generating leads today. I am telling you that without a doubt, because this is what people are Googling. This is what people are doing on an internet search. So if any of you are ambitious enough to go out there and start a foreclosure blog, Facebook page, Twitter account, all these things, go at it, because you will be generating leads. And don't worry, you really won't be in the business of probably selling 1,000,000 foreclosures. You'll probably have to go out and show a few, and then the people will most likely realize this isn't for me, and they'll turn into your typical buyer. But you can really position yourself to get a lot of leads if you start blogging about foreclosures. Now, does your blog have to completely be about foreclosures? No, it does not. But remember, you can add categories, right, on your blog. Remember, we talked about your categories as being almost like a file cabinet on your blog. So you may want to add a category about buying foreclosures. And you may want to put all different articles about there about what you need to know, maybe do some, post a couple foreclosure listings, tips and tricks on buying a foreclosure. And then, and don't forget to add those tags or those keywords in each post so that every person can find you. Then what will happen is you will start coming up in an internet search. Now you're going to put, so say for example, what would your tags be? There would be foreclosures, how to buy a foreclosure, tips on buying a foreclosure, your town, your state, your county, your marketplace, your name, right? So that's a great way to start cornering a market. Okay, we have a question over here. How do you get 12 followers to sign on to your blog? Okay, you have to, when you go through the process of networked blogs, what you do is it will ask you to, it will prompt you, and you have to just like keep asking to verify you as the author, and that will get you into the network blogs application. However, remember, don't syndicate your blog. All right, so do not syndicate your blog. So we're taking that part away. If anyone has any questions about that, please contact me after class. I'm going to also write a blog about exactly what you need to do to unsyndicate your blog if you've already done that, because we don't want your blog collapsing in that newsfeed. Not good. Okay. The other thing you need to ask yourself is, who do you want to build relationships with? Do you want to build relationships with investors? Do you want to build relationships with first-time buyers? Do you want to build relationships with people in your community? Do you just want to build your sphere of influence? So those are all questions that you ask yourself when you think about, what kind of things am I going to post? What am I going to blog about? And that's just a simple marketing question. You should really be asking yourself, who is my target audience? Every time you market yourself, every time you should ask, who is your target audience? So what I want everyone to do, let's pretend that we are creating a community-based blog. So it's about your marketplace and the community that you live in. What kinds of topics could you blog about? So let's come up with some together, and I'll put them up here on the board and give everyone some ideas. Now remember, they can be real estate related. They might not be real estate related. So let's think about some things that we can talk about. Now I'm going to, let's see, I will put something in here. Remember, I mentioned before that we might do a things to do, right? We could do a things to do. What else? Summer camp info. Awesome. It's that time to pick summer camps right now, everyone. So if you're maybe you could call up a few summer camps and say, geez, could you send me a blurb about your camp? I'll be happy to put it in my community-based blog. Camp info, well, that makes me think of like recreation. Oh, I like that one. Best beaches for finding shells. I would read that. Shell hunting. Or even just a best beaches in general. Best, you could do all kinds of topics surrounding best beaches. You could do, you know, best beaches for kids, best beaches for shell hunting, best beaches for a romantic picnic, all kinds of things. Hurricane preparation. Boy, I'm glad I don't have to know about that. That's another good one. That is something that people will Google. Turtle watching. Cool. I want to, can I come down and I want to go shell hunting and turtle watching? I think I should definitely be invited to the office. All right, and I want to come down when the shuttle's maybe not going to launch anymore, right? Okay, what else do we have over here? Ooh, surfing. I like that one. Believe it or not, you can surf in Massachusetts. I'm invited to Florida. Excellent. Shells. All right, what else? What else? What about just even activities, like community activities? And there's all kinds of things that you can find, right? You can go on and you can look for like senior, like if you have a senior center in town, or I'm sure your library has activities, your rec department, all kinds of stuff. Beaches, condos, neighborhoods. Yeah, how about like a featured neighborhood, right? A featured neighborhood. And it doesn't have to be a neighborhood, it could be like a featured development. It could be um, anything featured. It could be a featured person. Maybe if the company had a blog, they could do like a featured agent or a featured listing, fundraising. Yeah, I love that. So like if you guys are doing anything for MDA, that'd be a great thing to do to put on there. Or if I know a lot of you all participate in like the a lot of walks and things like that. Yeah, deals. I love that, right? That's a huge thing right now. That one said golf course deals, but any deals. That's a big thing, right? I know like I've been watching that extreme couponing show. I watched it like twice and I said, I have to do this. I can't do it. I can't figure it out. But of course, then you become an extreme couponer and you turn into an extreme hoarder. But so that's like a big topic right now. That's really hot, like deals, right? Everyone wants to like do this coupon thing. I posted something on Facebook about it and I got like tons of comments. Everyone's like, I do it, I want to do it, So everyone's into that right now, especially with the economy. Everyone's looking for a deal. Gas deals, golf course deals. You know what is a really fun thing to do if any of you have kids, and I'll share the story about a blog that I did with my kids a couple years ago, and we're going to resurrect it. A couple years ago, my children and I started a blog, and I did it purely on the purpose that I wanted the kids to start writing and sort of understand what it was to tell a story. And what we did was we decided that every weekend we would go out and just do something really fun. And this is actually when gas was really expensive the last time, right? What was that, 2 or 3 years ago? We would do something really fun and we would try to do it for as cheaply or inexpensively as possible. And what we would do is we would actually blog about it. So we would give a review. We did this, it cost this, if you want to go on this day it's cheaper, and this is what we thought about it. Literally, within just like a month or two, and we just had a couple, maybe 5, 6 entries, our blog was picked up by Nickelodeon. Pretty cool. So people were just finding it. We had all kinds of people following it, and unfortunately we had a family tragedy and it kind of went by the wayside. But we're on our way back, we're mending, and we're going to resurrect it. And it was so much fun. So things for kids to do, that's another thing that people are always, always looking for. Places to drive on a Sunday. Hey, yeah, that's a good one. A lot of people go out for Sunday drives. Yep, absolutely. You can put in Groupons. So Sunday drives. We used to always do that when I was a kid with my family, Sunday drives. And my dad would say, I'd say, where are we going? My dad would say, crazy. All right, community garage sales. Yeah, encourage people to send you their listings for their yard sale. People love yard sales, fundraising events, sports. Yep, when you have those sports signups, beaches, RV sites, perfect. School information, right? Like, I don't know what you guys have in Florida. Up here in Massachusetts, we have what's called the MCAS, and those are those test scores that everyone goes crazy about, right? So test scores, that's another great idea. Hope you guys are writing all these down. So definitely festivals, fairs, anything like that. Cape Canaveral ship launches, absolutely. Where to park, great ideas. You guys get the idea, right? So anything that people would Google, anything that people would be interested in. So now you all have all of these topics. So don't tell me you have writer's block, okay? So you have all kinds of information. Listen, you don't need to reinvent the wheel either. Remember last week we talked about maybe you just get the information, you get the link, and then you blog and you say, if you're looking for more information on hurricane prep, click here, right? Simple, simple stuff. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Don't feel like you need to be the one that's writing this stuff all the time, okay? You don't. All right, so let's go on. You guys did a great job with that. I'm really excited. All right, so think about your blog as an opportunity, right? You're creating leads and you have an opportunity. So by blogging often, we talked about like 2 to 3 times a week, you can build a following. But it also gives you an opportunity to get involved in the community, which is very important, and make connections, right? So when we talk about making connections, you know, what we want to think about, a lot of the connections we can make are business to business connections or connections with important people. Now, some of you may have taken these classes where they, you know, tell you, and I'm not downing them, they're great classes, but you know, you got to give out 5 business cards and you got to make 5 phone calls and you got to send 5 personal notes. Those are great. Those are basic prospecting skills that you need to do. And social media is not going to replace those things. But what we've been talking about is it's going to make it a little bit easier, right? So let's say, for example, you know that you really need to go out and hand out your business card. But let's be honest, it's kind of awkward, right? You go up and you like go into like businesses, and you're like, oh yeah, here's my business card, you know, hi, I'm Jill. It's weird. It's like unnatural. It makes no sense. And they take it and they're like, yeah, we'll give you a call, right? And they have no skin in the game. So, you know, they might keep it, they might not, they might throw it in the trash. But let's say, for example, you decide to create a community-based blog. Now, also, we want to save time when you're blogging, right? So you go down to the beach or downtown and you go to the businesses and you say, hey, you know what? My name is Jill and I have this blog and it's called, you know, Living at the Beach. And what I want to do is I want to invite all of you, I want to invite your company to actually promote yourself on my blog for free. It's not going to cost you a dime. All I'm going to ask of you is that, and you can set the schedule, but I would set a schedule once a month, and I'll send you a reminder. You just send me a little article and a photo about what's happening in your business. Maybe it's a sale, you know, maybe it's a menu change, maybe it's a promotion, maybe it's a fundraising activity, maybe it's something that the people in the community can get involved in. Like a lot of businesses, and maybe your business did, had Easter egg hunts over the past week, right? So you have an event going on or something's happening in your company, I want you to let me know. By the way, here's my card. By the way, here's 20 of my cards. And that way you can send me this information. All you need to do is just email it to me with a picture, right? Because we want to put a picture in our blog. We talked about that, right? And I'll be happy to put that information on there. So you've done a couple of things. You now have expanded your sphere of influence because you've made contact, another contact, right? So you're going to add them to your sphere, and you're going to do all those normal prospecting things that you do with your sphere of influence. You're going to call them, you're going to mail them, you're going to put them on your, you know, Facebook business page, blah, blah, blah. By the way, you can also say, by the way, I have this Facebook business page. Why don't you click the like button, right? You're also going to open up for referrals, because right then and there you're going to ask them for referrals. Don't forget, you're not going to get a referral if you don't ask for it. Okay, so you're going to ask for referrals, and oh, by the way, somebody's now writing your blog for you. How awesome is that? So let's think about some businesses. We're going to put on our brainstorm cap again because you did so well with that the last time. Let's think about some different businesses that you can make connection with. Now, it doesn't have to be a business, right? It could be some important people in town, or it might be the library, right? So I'm going to write the library here because the library, they sort of always have stuff going on, right? So you might go to the library and say, can you put me on your mailing list? Or is there some kind of, subscription to, when you have activities or things like that? Yeah, Little League, perfect. And Little League too, they have, you might want to touch base with the person who is the, director or even the fundraising person, right? Because Little League and Pop Warner and all those people, they always have fundraisers. Yeah, I love that. Pizza places. You can actually, now somebody wrote best pizza places in town. Okay, here's another way to get people to blog for you. Post a question. What's the best pizza place in town and tell me why? That's literally one sentence. And get other people to answer. Florist, yep. And think about when you go to a florist, right? They could give you information what kind of flowers are in season and what's, on special. Because, if you buy different flowers at different times of the year, they're different prices. Along the lines of a florist, you go to your nursery and say to the nursery, geez, could you one month send me a little information on, some planting, dry cleaners. Yep, they might be able to send you information about products that they have, or, what's one thing that dry cleaners are doing. This isn't really new, but that a lot of people don't know about. Let's say, for example, a lot of dry cleaners are now starting to like clean those UGG boots, right? If any of you women, sometimes men, have those UGGs, you can now take them to the dry cleaners and get them cleaned, which is really neat. Your vet, yeah, tips, right? Tips on what to do with your pets if it's warm or cold, or for, seasonal questions. Pool companies, advice, yep, that's great for your area because a lot of people have pools. Dry cleaners, florists, parks and rec, absolutely. Little League, pizza parlors, builders. How about that? How about builders? All right, so let's say, for example, let's talk about niche market. If any of you work with a builder, or if any of you want to work with a builder, why don't you go to the builder and say, I'm going to create a social media campaign for you. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a Facebook page surrounding your company or your development. We're going to create a blog. We're going to, post on, different options that people can have, and different, maybe highlight some of the different homes and the different styles. We're going to add community information to this blog. Oh, by the way, we're going to hook it to Twitter. We're going to give you a LinkedIn page. You want to recruit a builder away from another agent? That agent that they've been working with for like 20 years who does nothing but annoy you when you try to sell the property? Yeah, go ahead and do that because I bet you're going to do it. Because this is what everyone's talking about. I'm making a broker probably really happy right now because she's like, yeah, go get those builders. All right, banks. Yeah, how about all those people that you use all the time that beg you for business? Mortgage brokers, home inspectors, landscapers, mold remediation people, lawyers, all those people that are always come to you and say, give me business. Say, that's good, I'll give you business, give me a blog. Okay, so don't forget those people too. Yeah, insurance companies, banks, restaurants. Are there still any builders left? Yeah, there's builders left. Coffee shops. You guys got the idea. Will these blogs appear on your Facebook page, or what do you do to get the blogs on Facebook? Okay, so what we talked about was that we talked about manually posting the blog to your Facebook page. I'm going to send you instructions again on how to do that today. I know I went over at the beginning of class, but you might have missed it. So I'm going to make sure and follow up with all of you on that so that you don't have any questions about that. Okay. Hold on one sec. We have a little technical malfunction. Okay, so now you're thinking, all right, well, you know what, Jill? I just don't have the time to blog. I really don't. I'm stressed out enough already. I do so many things already that I just do not have the time. Okay, just like anything, you have to make the time. You actually have the time, you just don't know that you have it, okay? So you need to decide on a goal, first of all. You have to say, okay, I'm going to blog 2 times a week, 3 times a week. That's great. That's the first place to start. The next thing you need to say is, I'm going to blog on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm going to blog on Tuesday, Thursday. You need to set a schedule. Next thing you're going to do, and I'm going to get really crazy into time blocking, but I'm a big fan of time blocking. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to blog on Mondays from 9 to 9:30. I'm going to blog on Wednesdays from 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. It's really not going to take you more than half an hour either. We're talking, right? We talked last week 7 sentences, 12 sentences, 250 words, not a big deal. All right. So what's going to happen is you're going to decide on a goal and you're going to put it in your calendar. Very important. Put it in your calendar. Right. Blogging. All right. The next thing you're going to do, and this is going to take a little bit more time, is you're going to have to get out of the office. Yep, you're going to have to get out of the office. You heard me. Get out of the office. Get away from the computer, right? Because we're talking about social media is not your silver bullet. You still need to get belly to belly with people, and you're going to go out and make some connections to make your blog happen. All right, so what might that be? That it might be the niche blog. It might be the community-based blog. It might be the foreclosure blog. Okay, so whatever that is, you're going to find some people, some experts to help you make that blog go, because what we don't want to do is have you constantly being the only content creator. And again, remember last week that we also talked about repurposing content. So if you find other content on reputable sources, National Association of Realtors, Inman News, Riz Media, your Florida Association, anything like that, you find those reputable sources, look at the ERA site, there's lots of information there. You find those kind of sources, you can repurpose that content. It doesn't always have to be about, you being the one and only blogger. Okay, so marketing your blog. We're not going to use network blogs to syndicate it. We can still register our blog with network blogs, but we're not going to syndicate it. In other words, what that means is we're not going to have it go to Facebook automatically, right? We're going to actually manually post that. The next thing we can do is we can actually send it to our readers by email. Right? So you probably already have an email list. You already have a contact management system. So all you need to do is really send everyone an email, let them know that you started a blog, and email them the blog post, right? I did that to you guys a couple weeks ago. I had a blog entry that I thought was really interesting to you, so I emailed it to you. And a lot of you read it. I saw that a lot of you did. So that's a great way to get people to follow your blog. The other thing is you can cross-market your blog. Okay, so you can put your blog address on your business card. You can put it on your newsletters. You can put it on your postcards. You can put it on your listing flyers. Think about everything that you use. Put your blog address on there. You can put in your email signature, right? You can put in your email signature. So the other thing you can do is about repurposing content is some of you already have newsletters. You might create a newsletter. I was talking to someone last night and they do a frog pond newsletter, or you might use Constant Contact. You're already creating content or you're already paying for content, so repurpose that on your blog, right? So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We're actually talking about things that a lot of you are already doing. Okay, now once you start, this can be addicting, everyone, so I am not responsible for your statistic addiction. But what can happen is once you start blogging, you want to know if right? You want to know if people are reading it. So what you can actually do is when you log into your WordPress account, under where it says my blog on your dashboard, it will say site stats. And you can actually check your site statistics. And you can see how many people read your blog that day. And what's so fun is if you're a little bit competitive, and I assume a lot of you are because a lot of real estate professionals are competitive, you can actually play a little game and say, okay, I got 50 people to read my blog today. I want to get 75 people to read it tomorrow. What do I need to do? And start, doing different things, posting it on different places, emailing it to people to see what works. See if you can get that readership up every time. Right? And so every day, every couple of days, log in there and look to see what is it that I did differently, or what kind of things did I post that got the most attention. The other thing that when you log into your dashboard, WordPress will tell you is it'll actually tell you where your traffic came from. So it will say, this came to you via network blogs, this came to you via Facebook, this came to you via an internet search. The next thing you're going to see is it will say what people searched. So it will actually show you what terms, what keywords people used to searched and found your blog. So then you'll know, aha, these keywords are popular. These keywords are what is working. These keywords are what is driving people to my blog. And that is all on your dashboard site. So remember when you log in, where you control your blog from your dashboard, where you drive, that's all there under site stats. So that's where you want to find that information. Okay, so what I really want to do is I want to open up this for questions because we have a little bit of time, and I know that we went over the manual linking, so remember that I will be sending you information on that, and I'm also going to be sending you information on how to create a gravatar. So we're going to be doing that also. Let's see. Let me pull up your questions here. Okay, so we have some questions. I'm going to go through these in order. Okay, so start drafts as they think of them. Yes, that is a really good point. So last week we talked a little bit about this too, about evergreen content. So when you go into your WordPress account, and I'll actually show you what mine looks like because I have tons of drafts in there. So let me show you. All right. I'm going to log into WordPress. Oops. So what I do is I just create drafts and drafts and drafts. So every time I think of, something, I think, oh, I don't have time to do that right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a draft of that. Maybe you see an article, and what I do is I'll just copy and paste the article and say, oh, I want to blog about this, and this will remind me what I want to talk about. So you can create drafts all the time. So if you go over here, you look at the bottom right-hand side, you'll see here where it says recent drafts. So these are just some drafts that I've created. Like I'm going to do a draft on things to post on your fan page. Yesterday Realtor.com came out with a new app, so I started looking at it and I started writing down some of my thoughts about what I thought about the new app, so I want to create a blog about it. So I quickly reminded myself I want to blog about that. I wrote down some quick thoughts, and then I just created a draft. So you can create evergreen content too. So when I say evergreen content, what is that? That's content that lasts forever, right? It's like an evergreen tree. You can post it anytime. So that might be like, ways to remodel a kitchen, tips on improving your credit, different things like that. And where can you get a lot of that stuff? A really great site to get sort of that news you can use is Yahoo Real Estate. They have really simple articles on there. So you can just repurpose that that kind of stuff. Okay. Okay, somebody asked a question about what is a company that lets you repurpose your blog, or I mean to schedule your blog. Well, okay, there are companies that do that, but again, those are third-party applications, and what's happening with third-party applications is that Facebook is collapsing them into a news feed. So one of those companies is Sendable. If any of you are familiar with that, it'll actually let you schedule, and Hootsuite will too. But I'm not sure what's going to happen with the future of those. So I do know that, with networked blogs, Facebook is collapsing those. Whether they're doing it to all third-party applications, that I'm not 100% sure on. But at this point, I'm just going to really suggest to everyone to manually post is probably the best option right now. Let's see, I have another question. Would you explain to us what a gravatar is? Yes, a gravatar is actually when you go onto a blog, for example, and you can see here my gravatar here. See how there's like that little picture of me, and that represents me. Really, on many websites recognize gravatars. It's recognized by your email address. Now you'll see here see Barb, she needs to get a gravatar. So, but she's added some information about her: pilot, photographer, playful owner of VRA Showcase, a dynamic full-service real estate company. Right, and that is Barb, right? So that represents her. So it gives you a little, a little snapshot of who Barb is. So what's going to happen is every time you make a blog post, your gravatar will pop up. Okay, so I am going to send you all an article on more about what a gravatar is, how to create one, and where to go to do that, and how you can use it. So I know that the company would like everyone to do that. If you didn't get session 6 notes, please send me an email so I can respond to that email and send it to you. And thank you for the happy birthday. So we have a couple more minutes, so let's go through a couple more things actually. So let me show you some of those tags. Let me show you how that works on the stats. So if you look over here, see where it says site stats, you can pull that up and then you can actually see your site stats, but you can also, whoops, what's really neat, and this is what I love, is you can see here, you know, where people came to your blog from. So today I had I had some blogs come through Facebook and through networked blogs. Then you can also see the top search engine terms. So these are, I wrote a blog called Plow Deep While Sluggards Sleep, and that was the title of the blog. So remember, we talked about the title is something that would come up in a search engine. That is my favorite quote by Ben Franklin: "Plow deep while sluggards sleep." That was a really old blog I wrote, but somebody Googled that and they found my blog. I also wrote a blog actually called "The Power of the Like Button," and that's exactly what I called my blog, and somebody Googled that, "The Power of Like Button." So they found my blog that way. Somebody Googled "add social media icons to Outlook for Mac." Well, that wasn't my blog post, but I did have how to add social media icons to your email signature. So they found my blog that way. So really kind of neat. It's really interesting. And then over here on the right where it says top posts and pages, you'll see that it will tell you exactly, you know, what are your top posts and pages today, yesterday, and you can go back and check these stats going forward. So some really, really neat stuff. Let's see, let's go back here. I want to check the questions here, see if we have some more questions. No, no more questions? Okay, so 2 things. I'm going to send you out instructions on how to unlink or unsyndicate your blog from network blogs, and how to manually post your blog to Facebook. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to send you all a copy of the Gravatar blog post that I wrote so that you can all go ahead and get your Gravatar. And I know that everyone in the company would be very thankful and helpful if you did that. It will take you less than 10 minutes to get a Gravatar. All right, so less than 10 minutes to get a Gravatar. So if you have time right after this class, I'll send out the email in the next 5 minutes, and you can go ahead and do that. So that way you'll have it done. It won't be something that you put off and put off and put off. So less than 10 minutes to do that. So next week, let's see, next week we're going to talk about YouTube. That's exciting. We have 2 weeks left. So don't get behind in your homework, everyone, right? Don't get behind in your homework. So actually, I didn't go over your homework, right? Action plans. So this week, you will create a blog entry post. You are going to go into your daily planner, however you do it. You do it on a notebook, you do it on a whiteboard, you do it in your phone, you do it in your Outlook. I don't care what it is. You are going to assign yourself time to blog this week. You're going to set a schedule. Okay. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to start adding your blog to your marketing materials. So your email signature, you know, your flyers, when you order new business cards, things like that. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to get belly to belly, right? You're going to go out and press the flash with 5 people, right? It might be business people. It's going to be 5 connections that you are going to help contribute to your blog. So if it's a niche blog, then you're going to find people in that niche. If it's a community-based blog, you find 5 people in your community. You're going to give them your business card, you're going to ask for referrals, and you're going to ask them to be a part of your blog. That is going to take you no more than probably half a day. So let's think about scheduling that into our schedule over the next week also. So someday this week, maybe from 9 to 12, you're going to go out and you're going to make 5 connections. Got another question. Will you tell us how to get our blogs on Facebook? Will you also tell us how to get other people's blogs responses in our Facebook page? Can this be done? Yep, I'm going to show you how to manually post your blog to Facebook. Okay, and it's as simple as copying and pasting a link. If you want to, the next question, how to get other people's blog responses onto our Facebook page. So in other words, if somebody comments on your blog, if they commented on your blog site, it would only be on your blog site. But what some people will do is actually comment when you post your blog on your Facebook page, they'll comment there too. So it does give people another opportunity to do that. I think everyone's really confused about putting your blog on Facebook. So let's do this one more time. It's as simple as posting a link. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to our blog post, and we're going to get the link. Okay, so we can either get the link up here by copying and pasting it, or remember, we can get the short link. Right, remember how we want to use that tiny URL, the short URL, because we're hooking our Facebook page to our business page. We're going to go back to Facebook. Let's go to our business site. Go to our business page. We're going to click the link button. We're going to copy it into the box, and we're going to hit attach. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're literally just going to hit the share button. If you want to write a comment, you can write a comment in this box here. Okay? And then you're going to hit the share button. And that is going to post your blog on your business page. Now, if your business page is linked to your Twitter, it's going to automatically go to your Twitter. And that's why I wanted you to use that tiny URL. Okay, so you might want to make a little comment about why someone might want to read this blog, and then you're going to hit the share button. And it's going to make a post. So that's all you have to do. I'm actually going to remove mine. By the way, if you want to remove a post, this is how you do it. Hover over the right-hand side. Little X will come up, and you're just going to hit remove. Mine's already there, so I just didn't want to repost it twice. Okay, so any questions about that? So it's really just copying and pasting a link, and that's how you copy and paste any link, right? So if you go to Yahoo Real Estate, or you go to, National Social Realtors, or you find a really great article and you want to repurpose it, that's how you're going to do it. But remember, you want to get that shortened URL if you have linked your Facebook page to your Twitter account. If anyone has any questions about the shortened URL, go back to your workbook from our Twitter class, or shoot me an email and I'll be happy to go over it with you. The URL shortener that I had suggested that you use was bit.ly. I just find that one really easy. There's tons of other ones out there. Okay, I have a question. I thought our linking was from Twitter to Facebook. Does it also go the other way? The way that we set it up was we linked our Facebook to our Twitter. You can link your Twitter to your Facebook. However, because I think most of you are more familiar with Facebook, and Facebook is generally a little bit easier to use, we set it up so our Facebook was linking to our Twitter. So our Facebook was feeding the Twitter account. Now, some of you that wanted a little bit more flexibility didn't do that, and you maybe are choosing to use TweetDeck or Hootsuite or something like that. But for most of you, making it simple, getting it really easy so that you're at least on Twitter, at least you have a presence. We linked our Facebook business page to our Twitter account. I posted something from my Facebook page and it went to Twitter. When I was in Twitter, I noticed the same article was published there and I did not retweet. How can I prevent that from happening? In other words, you posted something to Twitter and somebody else had also posted it. That's going to happen because a lot of people find the same information helpful, and that's okay because you have different followers. But obviously, if you post something and then somebody else posts something, you don't want to retweet it because that's just you posting the same thing twice, which is annoying. Lots of questions. That's good. That means that you're actually doing stuff. All right, so I'm going to hang out for a couple more minutes, and I'm actually going to get off my Facebook page because you just never know what will pop up there. But so I'm going to hang out for a couple more minutes and answer your questions. But if any of you, otherwise I'll see you next week for YouTube. If you have any questions over the week, let me know. Hey, thanks for those of you that joined my Customizing Your Twitter page this morning. For those of you that weren't there, you missed out. Those people got an extra. I'm going to offer an extra for next week's class too. It's going to be really cool. So, okay, so how is Facebook and Twitter and WordPress linked together? Which comes first, the egg or the chicken? Okay, we are unlinking WordPress, everyone. We are unlinking our WordPress because we don't want it collapsed. Okay, but when you post the link on your Facebook business page then feeds your Twitter account. So anything you post on your Facebook business page will go to your Twitter account if you linked them. I'm going to have to do a graphic. Yes, Brenda. No problem. All right, everyone. So I will see everyone next week for YouTube. I'm excited. I want you to investigate, what kind of video capabilities you have over this week. So, like, do you have a cell phone camera that takes video? Do you have a flip cam? Do you have a webcam? Do you have a video camera? Inventory what you have, all right? Because we're going to get into talking about video next week, which is really fun and really the future of real estate marketing. So I will see everyone next week. Have a great week, everyone.